Hello everyone, Josh here with Excess Games, bringing you guys another Awaken Cast Era video, and today we're going to be exploring the power that is Ztlin. What makes this fire legendary so good, so versatile? What all can he do? What does he offer to your team? How to build him up, and where to place him inside your team in terms of speed tuning. That way he works on auto as he's intended to, and to the best of his capabilities. What type of stats to look out for, and what does Curse do? That's the biggest mystery to a lot of people that ask me to do this video. What is Curse, and how does it actually utilize, and how can you make the most out of it? We're going to be exploring all that good stuff here today in today's video. Now, keep in mind, my Ztlin does not have the best gear. You know, gear drops are based on RNG, and obviously, I've not had very good luck lately. Another thing to note is he is not yet 6-starred. I do have him max glyphed. As I said in my summoning session that I did a few days ago, where I did like over 200 summons, and I said that if you guys want to see 5-star Ztlin, to let me know in the comments, and you did. So we have 5-star Ztlin, which some of you probably saw that in my last video. So here's Ztlin. He has an S grade health, A defense, and A speed. So for being a tank, he's actually built pretty good stat-wise. You don't really need much attack on him. You don't really need any crit rate. You don't need no DPS stats per se. It's health, defense, and speed with him. Maybe give him some resistance and a little bit of focus if you really want to get his skill 1 to go off. But for the most part, it goes off pretty well for the stages I use him in. Maybe later down the road, I'll try to be a little bit more strict with my stat distributions. But right now, it's just a little bit hard with, you know, beta ending soon. And, you know, obviously just not having the resources to do so. But right now, we have our HP at 11.7k. We have 943 defense, 183 speed, which that speed is very important. You need him to be the fastest unit on your team if you are running him in auto. And I'll explain more when we do a Tulpa run. Like I said, his focus and resistance are whatever. You could, you know, have that whatever you may be. Resistance is going to be somewhat pretty decent anyways from max glyphing him, which I've already done. His attack is almost 1650. You know, a little bit of attack on him isn't a bad thing, but he's not really ideally built for attack. But, you know, it does help with his curse, which we'll go into in a little while as well. You see here, his glyphs, Saint, Prophet, completely maxed out. He's getting 436 from attack, 290 from defense, 3100 plus health, 31 speed, which is very good because that actually helps his cause of what we're trying to make him do here. Crit damage and crit rate can kind of just be completely erased from his glyphs. Maybe add just a touch more defense, speed, or HP, or even a little bit more attack. Or even add another couple percentage to resistance if you will. But the crit rate and crit damage is kind of useless. It's 1 and then 2%. And as I said, resistance is going to be pretty decent from max glyphing him. He gets 40% from that just because. So, that distribution-wise, that's kind of what we have to deal with for right now. Now, this is a fire-type legendary. He has no ascensions right now. His first ascension is going to be very good for him. It's 15% health. Now, how important is he to be ascended up to at least, you know, 2 stars to get that trait? Is this trait very important? Or is it one of those units where you don't really need it? It's nice to have, but it's not necessary to make the unit work. I would say in this case, it is not necessary at all. It's helpful. It's nice to have. It's a good bonus. It's a nice little cherry on top. But it's not something that you need to have to make him work. He can just be a base 6-star, no awakens, and still be really, really good for what you need him to do with optimal gear. Now, that 15% HP on that first awaken is very nice for him, though. It really helps him out. But, again, it's not essential to his kit to make him work. Like, you know, some units where you need dupes or they just don't work as intended. So he picks up 10% accuracy and precision at just the delay fate to all team members. But he gets delay fate too, which I'm assuming goes up an additional 10% accuracy and precision, which is nice if you're doing off-type, you know, stages. Like if you're running a green unit versus a red unit, having that additional precision, especially with a unit like Ztlin, could be very, very nice. Because Ztlin also gives himself 30 precision from his passive, so he's going to be hitting crits and stuff like that and doing pretty good numbers, even on fire-type units as a green unit. Because his precision is going to be so high. And precision helps go against deflection. And deflection, of course, is more apparent if you have a type disadvantage. He also gives you more accuracy as well. But but we're not really dealing with too many units in the game right now that deal with dodge outside of like Lydia. There are going to be a few units, but, you know, more than likely, you're going to be dealing with that mostly against Lydia. And my goodness, is Lydia a tilty unit to fight. But again, that's the stat distribution for now. Keep speed in mind. That's the important stat we want to talk about. So let's go ahead and take them in. Then we'll discuss his skill set a little bit while we're doing a Tulpa run. I'll do like a semi-manual run so I can kind of explain kind of what he's doing. And then I'll let the AI take over, kind of like I did with some of my previous videos. It's just really good to explain it this way, because just saying things and not showing you, it can get a little touchy. I'd rather just show you, let you visualize what's happening, because I feel like that's a better explanation than trying to visualize it yourself or trying to work it around in your mind as you're watching the video. So hopefully this way of showcasing characters has been very helpful for a lot of you. If it has, definitely go ahead and hit that thumbs up, because I enjoy making videos like this and breaking certain characters down that people may not be familiar with, and maybe some people think aren't that good, but they really are, with some thought process put in. So anyways, let's go ahead and do the dungeon run here. Like I said, we're going to do Tulpa 11. Hopefully this doesn't become a Cyrus and Zachary showcase video. We'll have to see. Hopefully not. Alright, so we have our team here. We have our Cyrus. We have our Ztlin. We already know what Cyrus can do. Cyrus is a beast. We're also going to run Zachary, and that's it. So there's the team. There's our full mono fire team. And as soon as I get my Ztlin a 6-star, I'll try to do a Tulpa 12 showcase. Maybe tomorrow, because I feel like this might be one of the most optimal fire team builds right now for Tulpa 12. The only other unit I could think of to maybe slide in here is maybe take out Ztlin and throw in a Asrina if you just want your runs to be a little bit faster. But then I would have to do a lot of speed tuning, a lot of speed testing, and have optimal gear on all my units to really see if that's faster or not. Because Ztlin can do some work, and you're going to see why here in a moment. Now, you're going to see something interesting that a lot of people do not realize is such a great spell to run. And that is this right here. The Last Breath revives a random ally and resets all of their ability cooldowns. Ally dies after taking one action. That's perfectly fine, and we're going to talk about why that's so good to run with Ztlin on auto. Let's go ahead and start this up. Alright. So, this is why speed is so crucial for Ztlin. You want your Ztlin on auto to use his curse before your DPS units. In this case, my DPS units would be Cyrus and Zachary. Your Connor can go first, that's fine, because he's just going to give everybody an attack up, a shield, or he's going to heal. He's not really there to do DPS either. He's there as a support unit, much the same as Ztlin. So, initially, this is kind of how the AI is probably going to play out. It's probably going to pop a defense down, unfortunately, but it'll probably do that most cases. And then he'll pop his attack up and his shield up. And then now you're in this situation. We already know what his trait can do. But here's his skill 1. Deals 100% damage to an enemy and applies precision down. Now, precision down 30 is great, because like we talked about earlier, precision goes against deflect. So if you're lowering the precision of Tulpa, you're upping the opportunity that your characters that have the type advantage, being fire, will get more deflects off, and a deflect reduces damage by 50%. And since it's an unconditional percentage, that means it's a 100% chance to be applied unless the boss has enough resistance. So there you go. He's got a very good skill 1. It protects your whole team because you're running a mono fire, and he's lowering the precision of the boss, so your deflections are going to go up. Very, very good. So you take less damage. Very solid skill 1. Now, his passive, he grants a shield before any team member takes damage. 30% of damage received is converted into heal over time for 1 turn. Can only be triggered once per turn. So this is very, very good when you're getting ready to get hit with an AoE. Very, very solid. I'm not 100% sure what his shields are scaled to yet. I'm thinking it might be his HP, but it could be his attack. I'm going to have to do a little bit more testing there. But if it's HP, that's perfect, because then that 1 ascension with that 15% HP and taking him to 60 is going to be awesome for him. The shields for Connor right now, as we've tested, are scaled to his attack, so we know that More testing will need to be done with Ztlin to see what his shields are scaled to. I hope that it's attack, or I hope that it's HP, because that'd be perfect. If it is attack, it's still not terrible. He would just be more of, you would just convert him to more of a DPS Ztlin instead of a tank Ztlin. But I'd rather keep him as a tank because the way his skill sets are, it just works out better for him in that way. Now, the big daddy of them all. This is what everyone's been waiting for. What does Curse do? Why is Curse so strong? Why is Ztlin so praised? Well, he deals 100% damage to an enemy and applies Curse for 2 turns. What Curse is doing is after we go ahead and apply Curse to an enemy, which this will happen on auto, all the damage we now do for the next 2 turns before that Curse activates, 50% of that total damage will be converted to the enemy that has the Curse on it. So if we do 100k damage in 2 turns, that enemy will take around 50,000 damage. This is exceptional for guild boss stages. This is great for trying to take down hard to beat tanks that just keep healing and healing and healing. This is great for, of course, Tulpa. This is good for other stages too, like I believe the Witch of the Wind is a pain in the butt one that Ztlin works very well on when you're trying to burst her down, because of all her unhealables, it's hard to run a tank. Now, you can run Lifesteal. I do believe Marion still works there. But, yeah, like a unit like Connor and Myth Asia and Blackhorn, they're going to struggle there because they're not going to be able to get heals off. Now, Connor can still run his shields. You could try to also continuously keeping immunity up with like a Joseph, but that might just be not ideal. And your runs will be a lot slower. So, Ztlin is very useful in stages like that, and you guys and gals are going to see what he can do here on Tulpa. So let me just go ahead and kill everything real quick. Now, we're kind of playing this out like it would be played out on auto. We're pretty much doing everything that the auto would do for the most part. And this is what the auto would do. It would do this. And unfortunately, the auto is not so ideal sometimes. So I believe the first attack that it does on auto with Cyrus is this, which is just a waste. But it kind of does that. I'm just trying to play it out like the auto would for the most part. I think I'm going pretty much in the order the auto goes. Maybe I'm not using a skill 1 or skill 2 here or there, perhaps. We'll have to see when we do our auto run after. But you guys are getting the idea here. Okay. And now we get to the boss stage. And the curse is so good if you get it timed right around when the boss puts his shield up, because it melts that shield. So from this point on, we're going to go ahead and click auto. And we're going to talk a little bit about why we're running that revival spell. So, wow, such a waste, Connor. So the reason why we want to run that revival spell is through doing a lot of my testing, there's 2 units that will die usually before any other unit. And that's either my Connor will die because he'll be targeted multiple times, or my Ztlin will die. Now, what's good is if that revival spell is activated, they get to come back and they use their ultimate immediately, which means I get another curse to go right off, or I get a full heal top up from Connor. And then if I can survive for another few turns, I can use that spell again and again and again, however long I survive here. You can see we just did 11.8k damage from the curse on that particular run there. Ideally, you want to have that defense down and then pop both your ults from both your DPSs during that time period that curse is up to really maximize the output that curse is doing. But again, Ztlin's providing us with that precision down. He's giving us those shields, especially when we're taking an AoE hit, which is fantastic, which is mitigating some damage. We have Connor in here with his shields and top-up healing. And then we have our 2 DPSs going in and doing the heavy lifting. So it's a very, very complete, very optimal team. And Ztlin is so good. Even at level 50 with very unoptimal gear right now, he's still doing a fantastic job. Because he's out there protecting your team alongside Connor. He's providing you with a little bit of utility by lowering the boss's precision, allowing you to get more to flex up. And then he's providing with that big curse damage that you can really take advantage of and completely melt shields like they're nothing. So he's a solid unit. And I love to run the revival because you can do a lot of abusive things with that revival spell if you build it if you build your team to run it properly. That's why we have our Ztlin very fast and our Connor very fast, because we want those things to go before our DPSs. We want that shield up quickly, that attack up buff from Connor quickly. We want Ztlin to go in there and pop the curse as soon as possible, and then if he somehow dies, he gets to come back to life, and then he gets to pop his curse again if there is no curse active. So we can go ahead and do some more tilty things with Tulpa. Now we're going to go in and do a full run here on auto, and let you guys kind of see how it all plays out from start to finish. And as I said, he'll use his curse, unfortunately, right off the bat, but this is a way that we play around the auto not being that smart. So I'm just going to go ahead and let it play out.
Shut up and fight.
And I do hope you guys love these breakdown videos and these play tests and stuff like that, because I really like analyzing and collecting data and truly seeing what units work with what types of teams, what types of sets of gear, what their long-term projections might be, their future projections, if you will. There's a lot of crazy things that I have going on inside my head right now, and I love unraveling them with you guys here on the channel. I already have crazy ideas for endgame PvP for a tank team that unfortunately will not be, you know, brought to anyone's attention until after release, because I'm just not going to have the time to build that at all or the resources to do so. And by the way, the closed beta test right now, the confirmed date for it to end is October 8th. So maybe I'll make a video just mentioning that and giving you my final thoughts on the beta overall. And maybe I'll make another video talking about my personal suggestions I would love to see for this game to make it better. And I'm also still going to be releasing my top 10 units thus far in the game. I'll have that list for you guys and gals as well. So lots of content still for Awaken still to come here. Hope you guys are enjoying all this content for Awaken. If it does go on somewhat of a hiatus between now and like a soft launch or a release, I'll try to fill in that gap with some other content like other first impression videos and stuff like that while we wait for the official release. I do have some big news coming out of me, Hoyo, that I'll try to get that video done later today. Some very interesting things coming. Very interesting, just to say the least. If you don't know about what I'm talking about yet, you definitely want to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned, because it's potentially going to be something big. Alright, so you guys and gals can see here, we're pretty much just taking care of Tulpa 11 like nothing at this point. He's a chump. He's not even really a problem. And what's really funny is I'm not really rocking any 6-star gear. I have maybe like a couple pieces that aren't even fully built up, and that's about it. We're pretty much just running on max glyphs, 5-star gear, and that's it. And the team build itself. So there you guys and gals go. That's Tulpa 11 defeated like nothing. He's easy peasy now. Ztlin's out here melting those shields like they're nothing. I hope you guys and gals enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to subscribe, tick notifications, and join us in the Discord in the description below. Until next time, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter at XSPlays, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.